Hi, thank you for listening with Miska podcast. It's been actually a while since I've released my previous podcast, but there's a new one. This is my guest is Corsica Wilson. She's an actress. She's an actress here in LA, and I've been working with her quite a lot. She has acted in. I've acted in a couple of things with her, and I've also done some producing work with her. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty well. I've been going back and forth Finland and LA quite a lot because I've been booked in Finland too as well as in LA. Since last July, when I released the previous podcast, I have acted in a couple of movies. I actually booked one lead part in an indie feature film, in an American film, and you're gonna hear about it soon. We already filmed it last fall, and I think it's ready now. I don't know when it's coming out. And all is well here in LA. I have tonight. I actually have an alumni meeting of New World School of the Arts from Miami, so that's exciting. I'm gonna see some people who I haven't seen for over 10 years. But that's it. It's summer. I'm trying to exercise. Maybe Runyon Canyon tonight. That's my plan. Not tonight, but today, during the day. All right, Corsica Wilson. She's gonna tell you how is it living in LA. Just how the real grind of an actor in LA is. So enjoy, Corsica Wilson. This is great.
Yay.
I can hear you really well.
Oh, good.
How are you doing, Corsica?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm going to Finland tomorrow.
Ooh, amazing.
Yes.
For work?
Yes, I booked a commercial.
Nice.
It's just a one-day shoot, but it still makes sense for me to go there.
Were you hired as a Finnish local, or are they paying for, are you hired here and then they're paying for you to go?
Oh, it's Finnish local.
Oh, yeah.
They're just like some people who I've worked with before. I did one commercial with them like 3 days ago. No, 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Just got back from Finland.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And,
yeah, nice.
And they called me if I could do this commercial. And it makes sense to go there.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not making like huge amount of money, but
the
still,
job, right?
Yeah, I'm going there for 1 week, and I think I need to do some additional shoots for my horror film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because now the edit is it needs a couple of scenes because there was so much improvising when we did the film.
Right.
I have during the editing process. I've noticed that.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good because then you recognize the gaps and then you can know how to fill them,
I hope
from all the improv. Yeah. Then we didn't actually cover these parts in the improv.
There's parts that we didn't cover. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. So that's it. And I have an audition actually tonight.
Oh, wow.
For a dance theater. It's a callback.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They like your hair?
I don't know what they like, but the guy actually complimented me after the first audition. It's like this, I don't know if it's dance theater or like physical theater. There's not specific technique. It's like movement type of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I had an audition like 2 weeks ago.
It's like interpretive dance or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so now I'm just doing all this stuff because I'm flying out tomorrow, so... I need to do some preparation, just some general stuff, and maybe writing the horror film.
Yeah, yeah. So how long? You're just going to go for like a week to shoot and then do your reshoots?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have an improv show and one stand-up gig. But the main thing is really the commercial and this horror film reshoots. Well,
right.
Additional shoots, not reshoots. Yet.
Oh, yeah. Pickups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is everything with you?
Good. I just worked on another commercial for Blue Bunny ice cream.
Okay.
And it's pretty cute. I guess I don't think I signed an NDA for it. But basically, I'm not wearing pants in the commercial and eating lots of ice cream. So it's pretty cute. It's pretty funny. It was an easy day. It was nice.
Yeah.
So my first commercial this year, which I felt like I had a lot of good luck last year with commercials. So it was nice to have it kind of continue into this year so far, but we'll see if any more come along. But yeah.
And so how many days was this one?
It was just one, and it was me and my husband and my mother that were cast, and so I was we did like the main part of it, and so they had to keep the husband character for a few more for the rest of the day, but I was done by like noon, and I actually made it to another callback for something else. Time, which was great, but I think I ate too much ice cream because I did really bad in that callback.
What did you do in the commercial?
In the Blue Bunny one?
Yeah.
It's kind of like we're husband and wife and we wake up and we realize our pants are gone, and then they have like a new like Blue Bunny spokesperson, and that the bunny took our pants because we said, we wanted to be able to have ice cream without putting pants on, and so it's kind of like, I took your pants and here's ice cream. And so they have this like new, like, it was actually really delicious. It was like this little sundae, but you can just have them in your freezer, so it had like candy and stuff in it and ice cream. It's like a little one serving sundae that you can just buy at the grocery store.
Yeah.
So you don't have to put pants on to have a sundae.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was pretty cute.
And you're SAG, Screen Actors Guild, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have been for a couple of years now.
So that means that, you don't need to tell how much, but I guess those pay really well.
Oh yeah, the commercials, yeah, it's all in the residuals though. So my day rate is not a lot, but that's definite, and then the rest of the money just kind of depends on how often it airs and what channels it airs on. So this one was national network. So this one was like the biggest one, but it also still depends on how often they want to run it, but it'll air on all of the like most expensive channels to air for commercials. But then it's like, hopefully they'll air it a lot on those channels and for a long time,
So something like that, you could get tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I think average is like 10 to 15 for national, but then, some you could make more if like they want to do it for another cycle, because usually they just buy one 13-week cycle where they air it, but they could renew it and do another cycle and, keep it. And like there's some commercials like Geico or something where I've seen the same Geico commercial for like decades,
Yeah.
and those people are still making money off those, So yeah, but I guess average national network is like 15, I guess, before taxes.
And you're doing pretty well with the commercials, aren't you?
Yeah, last year I booked 5, but I only one of them 2 of them were national network. The others were like cable, and one was for Apple, but it was for the Web Developers Conference, so it just played once, and so we didn't even get anything for it. It was just the day rate, which it was still really cool. It was fun, and that's how I met Dave. So it was like, you meet a lot of like cool people on set and stuff. Yeah. But that one paid nothing,
Yeah.
But that was a 2-day shoot. So at least I got multiple day rates.
Yeah.
So yeah, but commercials are great. It's given me a lot of free time to work on writing and other things. It's been pretty nice. Enjoying that freelance lifestyle.
Yeah. When was the last time you had a day job?
I guess last year around this time, I was doing Postmates. And I stopped.
I'm aware of it.
Yes.
I have a car now. I haven't done it, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who are they've hit me up for advice about it. And I think it's changed a lot now. Like the strategy I used, you can't really use anymore. Like they've changed the app and how you do the job. So you can't really do it the same way. But
the Postmates is a food delivery thing.
Yeah.
Or do you deliver anything?
It's anything really. Yeah. It's like one pickup and one drop off, kind of like an errand, But yeah, that was the last kind of job, like day, like consistent job I had. I mean, working with Hanu, like that's
for no office.
Yeah. That's I guess pretty consistent, but it's not a day job. It's like gig to gig basis. But Postmates, I stopped about this time last year. And that was like the last kind of, but that even you kind of do whenever you want.
Yeah.
So,
How was it doing that?
I hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. And I got a few parking tickets, cause I would test you just get it's just a high stress job. And then, searching for parking and stuff, you run the risk of, you tempt fate a lot. And so then of course you're going to lose sometimes. And then you get a parking ticket and you're like, oh, cool. My whole day now just went to paying this parking ticket. And you kind of just like, it felt like you could never really like get ahead. Postmates was kind of like, just felt like a constantly like just treading water without really ever like getting out of the pool. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I did that for a year. And it takes a lot of self-discipline too.
How much can you make per hour, or can you actually make money? Because well, you can't really make a lot of money. Like you have to work a lot to make a decent amount of money. There is like strategy to it, but of course, like I was saying, like it's all changed now, so like you used to be able to, as you were delivering the job that you're on, you used to be like another job would come in. That's like, oh, there's a McDonald's right next to where you're delivering this food, like pick that up next. And so you used to be able to like pick it up. So you'd have a job ready to go, you'd deliver, and then the food would be ready and you could go pick it up. But now I've had friends tell me that if you pick up a job while you're still on a job, it goes into, you get paid less. So you can keep taking jobs, but then it's like grouped and it's in like a pool. And so you're paid less for those jobs. Yeah. So you'd have to complete the job and then take another one, and you'd get like the full $4 or something for that delivery. So it's changed now, but when you're in that pool, usually you can do like 3 or 4 jobs an hour, and each job is like about $5 to $8, including tip. I mean, it could be bigger, but like average would be like $7. So it was usually like 2 jobs an hour. So it's usually like about $15 an hour. So it's like, but sometimes it would be less. Sometimes it would be a lot more. Ideally, you want to work like 1 to 4 a.m. Okay. For the tips, or?
For the tips, it's a surge price because there's only like a handful of places that are open. And, so people have to order from those. So usually they're really far away, and it's surge pricing because that's just a high demand time when everyone's wasted and wants junk food. There's tons of free parking. There's no one on the roads. So you can just fly. You can do like 5 deliveries an hour, and they're all surge pricing. So you could make like $50, $75 an hour almost. If you did that. Yeah. But I could never stay up. I'm a morning person. So I always got too tired, or would always much rather like go out with friends and then not want to like, I'd be too intoxicated to drive or work. So it never worked out for me. I would always do like the coffee mornings and the meals during the day.
So I guess when you stopped that a year ago, was it like a big step in your career?
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually it was like, I hit a really low point because it was in March of last year. I got in an accident while I was doing Postmates.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was really bad. And like I was saying, like you can't really get ahead with Postmates. So I was already at a low point working Postmates because I was kind of just like trying to get by until I booked a commercial or something. Yeah. But I just wasn't booking, of course, because you have no control over that. And then I got in this accident, and it wasn't my fault, but since I was moving technically, because I was pulling out of like a line of cars and was like looking for someone that was looking for traffic that was coming, and I couldn't see anyone until they hit me. No, I was pulling out.
Okay.
And so I was crossing, like there was a line of traffic stopped. And so I like crossed that, and I was looking for traffic coming the other way, and so I'm like trying to look past the wall of cars, and I like look, and I scoot up, and I look, and I scoot up, and I look, and I scoot up, and this woman just flies into me, and it was terrifying. Must have just like, I don't know where she came from, but like it was just like because I was moving when she hit me, it was my fault technically. And so all of a sudden I owed my deductible, and I didn't have a car. Like my car had to go in the shop for 2 weeks, and I owed money that I didn't have. And my only means of making money was now gone, And so I was just like deeper in the hole. And, But that was
and Postmates, that doesn't have anything to do with Postmates as far as insurance.
Yeah, no.
You're on your own.
Yeah, you're totally on your own. Same with like tickets and stuff, yeah. And so that was kind of like ridiculous. That was like the lowest probably I've ever been. But because of that, I just kind of like everything else went away, and it was like blinders of just like getting things done and like pure motivation. And so my friend was nice enough, like his friend had just sold her or just bought a new car, but she had her old car that she hadn't sold yet. And she said, they told me that my car might even be totaled.
Yeah.
So on top of like owing the deductible, I might be like without a car too. It was like, you know,
I know. Well, I've had a car for a month now.
Yeah. So nice. Yeah.
The Kyle's car.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That thing. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what it's like a child, especially here, because you're just like all the parking rules and everything. It's just like always having to worry about your car.
Yeah.
And so my friend's friend had her old car and she wanted to just get rid of it. So she said she would even sell it for like $100, but it would be like temporary. So I was like already planning for that, but she let me borrow it for those 2 weeks while my car was in the shop. And I just Postmated like 14 hours a day. Like I lived in that car, and it was in the middle of LA summer. It was like, or no, it was March, but it was ridiculously hot, I remember, for some reason, and the car didn't have AC. And so I was just like, it felt like torture. It felt like punishment, you know, but it was like, and it was in that time that I wrote out my Australia pilot, because I had been like planning it for so long, and like, I just needed something to do.
Can you quickly tell what Australia pilot?
It's a historical fiction multi-narrative pilot about the gold rush in Australia in the 1850s, and it's kind of like it's the beginning of the formation of the Commonwealth of Australia, and it starts with because of the gold rush, the gold diggers were looking for representation because they were being taxed by mining for gold. And so with the first season's about the Eureka Stockade Rebellion, which is about that fight. And it was kind of the first step towards democracy. So it was kind of like the gold rush sparking the colonization of Australia.
Yeah.
And so it's told from like 4 different narratives, kind of like Game of Thrones. Like it's like multiple colonies of the country and like the people in those colonies.
And it's realistic.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. But it's set in the 1850s.
How did you end up writing about that?
Well, my friend and I were trying to write something together, and we just couldn't find something that we were both passionate enough to move forward with. And so we had one idea for the Oregon Trail, and we couldn't really decide if we wanted it to be.
I went to see an improv show about that.
Really? Yeah, about the Oregon Trail?
Oregon Trail. yeah, it's just really close, next to Pattaya in the same strip mall.
Oh,
there's an improv theater. You have seen the sign.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hearing music from somewhere.
Yeah, it's next door.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Okay.
I was just like, does it exist?
The walls. Oh yeah, the walls here are pretty thin.
So they have an improv show every Saturday. I don't know if they're running it now about Oregon Trail.
Oh, huh.
About the computer game.
Oh yeah. And that's what we thought. It was so funny. So we wanted to do like a comedy about the Oregon Trail because everyone loves that. Like it's such a famous, time in history. And what it's based on. Yeah. I mean, the game is based on the actual Oregon Trail. And yeah, so we were kind of like thinking about something with that. And I came home and I was just kind of like inspired by it. I hadn't really realized how much I loved history until like this moment, I guess. But
last summer.
Huh?
You realized that last summer?
Last summer?
Your relationship to history. Because you said that in July you're driving the car.
Yeah.
It's very hot.
This was even before that because I had this idea probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I had been just like planning it, but never going into
Australia
execution.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like I had been like thinking about it and stuff, but it wasn't until I was, post accident in those 2 weeks of postmating and having no life and I just I plotted out all 8 seasons of the show just
while driving.
Yeah. But I would just be thinking while I'm driving, or maybe like jot something down, but you'd be waiting on food or doing this and that. There was a lot of like 5-10 minute intervals, and I would just be brainstorming, the whole time. And that kind of that got it going. And I really got just so invested in it. And, it just gave me like the determination to see it through. And so then even after, I think, that 2 weeks ended, I had a shoot for this web series, LA Macabre.
Yeah.
And it was and so then I had it all figured out. And so then on that shoot, I made my lookbook of like characters. And, so just in that time, I just really made the first few steps that kind of were like, oh, this is done now and this is good. So now I should finish the next thing. It was kind of like I was too scared to actually start doing it. And then the time, doing the Postmates and not really having the money or time to go out or do anything, I kind of just threw myself into this idea and actually got some of it done. And then I was like, oh, this is the more work I do, the better it is. Look at that, And so then I was like, it kind of motivated me to keep going and get it done. And then I was like, oh wait, I really love writing. I really love this whole process. And so now it doesn't really take much for me to it's the easiest thing to have discipline with, just because I love it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to find things to watch about the Oregon Trail 2 years ago with my friend to write this thing. And I ended up watching this Australian reality show also in the 1850s. But that's when I learned all about that life and that time and just the diversity of it. And I just grew fascinated, and I just didn't know anything about Australia's history. And so I was like, wait, what? And I did some research, and then I was like, I just never looked back. It was just so cool to me.
Did you have a connection to Australia before?
No. It was more just growing up in a Navy family. I've seen a lot of cultures, and I think I was just so fascinated by the mix of culture that happened at the time because of the gold. And I mean, the British Empire was huge. They owned India, they owned the Caribbean, they just owned a lot of different countries, and all those people came to one place. And it's just a lot of the cultures that I already really love and respect. And I just loved seeing them all together. And, it was just kind of like everything that I grew up with and enjoyed. It kind of was all in one thing,
So where did you grow up? Is it a Navy family? So
yeah, my dad was in the Navy. So I was born in the Azores off of Portugal. And then I lived in Charleston, South Carolina, Connecticut, Sardinia, Italy, and then New Hampshire. And my dad retired there, and he went into accounting. So I was there for 9 years until I left for college. And I spent my first year of college in London, and then the other 3 years in Florida.
What school did you go to?
Florida State University.
Where's that?
It's in Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in Miami.
Little town. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I went to acting college in Miami for 4 years.
Oh, University of Miami?
No, it's actually University of Florida.
Oh,
even though it's in
yeah.
Gainesville. The school I went to is New World School of the Arts. But
cool.
our credits came from University of Florida.
Oh,
so, my degree is from University of Florida.
Yeah. Interesting. Nice.
Yeah.
We were... I never really went to Gainesville. It's kind of, it was our...
I've never been in Gainesville.
Oh, yeah. You were in Miami, right?
Our school was in Miami. And we had our own little graduation in Miami.
Yeah,
for our Miami department.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Miami is probably for college, that's a great city to be in. Very much better than Tallahassee.
I guess so. Well, I lived in downtown Miami, really close to the school. I think South Beach is a little bit different if you want to... But I skateboarded to school every day. It took 6 minutes. And you went to theater school too, right?
No, I didn't. I actually got a degree in public relations.
Really?
Yeah, I was accepted for theater, but I realized I didn't really want to do it. I wanted to do film, and the program. I was accepted into a really exclusive program, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't want you to get a minor, or we really won't have time to have a part-time job. You're going to be doing a lot of theater." And I was like, "Wait, what? I like acting, but I like film acting, not theater acting, and I want to start working and finding films to be in, and, you know, like, how am I supposed to pay for school if I can't get a part-time job? And so I was like, maybe I went the wrong route, and maybe I got a degree in communications, and then I just was really involved in the film school that they had there, and I acted in all the films. And it was funny because while they were shooting the films, the teachers would be there teaching. So I'd be the actor, and I would just be sitting there waiting for my scene, watching the teachers teach the film kids. So like I kind of got a free film school experience,
Nice.
education. So yeah.
When did the acting thing start?
I think honestly, it was, well, it started when I lived in Italy, definitely. 'Cause that's just kind of where my imagination kind of went out of control, just with like history. And I was an only child. So I was like always entertaining myself, and we would.
How old when you?
I was 7 to 9.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love historical fiction so much. Like, it all makes sense now, because we would tour around Italy and Europe, and I'd see all of this history, but I was 8, you know? So I was like, I'm bored. And I was like, I'd be in like Liechtenstein Castle, and I wouldn't want to know the history or the facts. I would just be like, kind of just being like, oh, like, you know, I'm a princess, like all these people in my castle today, and just kind of like playing pretend to entertain myself in these historical places.
Yeah.
You know, and I think from that, I realized my love for creating stories. But I think I geared more towards acting, because when we moved to New Hampshire after Italy.
Do you have siblings?
No, I'm an only child. So that was I had to entertain myself. But
so you moved back?
Yeah, I moved to New Hampshire, and I was pretty shy. And so my mom found this summer camp at this historical museum, and it was like different houses from different time periods of the area.
Yeah.
And so for the summer camp, as kids, you would be role players, and you would learn all about this person who lived in this house at this time, and you would wear the clothes and learn what they would be doing in the house. And then you'd go and you would improv to people, you know, guests, visitors that would come through the house. And there
like
would be
a museum type of thing.
Yeah, there'd be like a tour guide who would be like normal and can, you know, tell them things. But then we would be the role players, and we would be like, you know, in the actual time period, being this person who actually lived at this time. And I thought that was super cool. And so that's where I kind of started. And I was playing these characters and improving just like little things, you know, and from there I kind of got involved in theater.
Kid,
yeah, I was 9. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fun. And so that kind of like made me a little less shy, and made me realize like, oh wait, I love playing pretend and learning about things and showing people, you know, and especially like bringing to life, you know, like real people and real experiences, and like teaching people about them, you know, like from history.
So the history was already then present.
It was, yeah. I guess I didn't realize it, because I hated history class, but I love like the culture and the like day to day of history. But I guess it's also kind of like a fantasy world in a way, because it's not our present day.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like anything that's like different. It's just like, what is it like to live? What is it like to live then? Versus like, what's this treaty, or like, what year did this happen, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you need to know that to know what it was like to live then. So I'm like getting better at, you know, appreciating history more in that sense. But yeah, it was more like what it was like to be in that time versus, you know, all of like the facts and stuff. But yeah, I grew up in it. So now it makes sense that I have turned towards that. Yeah. And so then I was in theater, and then did a lot of film in college, and then moved out here. But I still love film, but or acting, you know, out here. But I've definitely switched more into writing, for sure.
More into?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just easy to fill my time with.
Yeah.
I just love that it's something I can be constantly shaping and creating, you know?
Yeah. And you're not that much dependent on others.
Yeah. Right.
As an actor. You're
right.
just,
and like last year I booked more acting work than ever before.
Yeah.
And it was because I was like not even focused. I was focused on my writing, you know?
You know, I have booked many important roles that way, that I have been thinking about something else, or not too enthusiastic, because they can sense it if you're too enthusiastic, or if you really
acting
want
is like it's It's not, you don't want to try too hard.
Yeah.
Which is, it's like a weird thing because you do want to try, but you can't. It's like golf, I guess. The more relaxed you are, the better it is.
I think you're probably really good in that. Not appearing to trying.
Yeah. But there's still a difference. Like I still, there's always like, this is a paycheck. So you go in and you're like, there's just a little tense, there's a little stiffness of just like, oh, it'd be really nice to book this. You know what I mean?
I know.
Versus like, I'm out there in the hall thinking about like my million characters and how like one is going to betray the other. And then they call me in and I'm like, what? Do this? Okay, great. Bye. Like I have things to work on. And it's like, I think it makes it more instinctual, like you're acting and more natural, if you're not thinking about what you're doing, you're just in it.
Yeah, that has happened to me many times. It's weird.
Yeah.
That I have had something else on my mind when I've gone to audition and then actually end up booking.
Yeah. Even like my cat died and I had an audition that day and I went to it. Actually, I think it was a callback.
Yeah.
And I was like just trying not to cry. Like that was my goal. And it was like some funny like rom-com web series thing. And it was just a normal moment, and I was like, my only goal was to just not break down and I booked it. Yeah. Yeah. He was like, I love how subtle you are. And you're just really like, there's a lot of energy that you're like not. And I was like, yeah, just sure. Great. Yeah. It was really just me trying not to like start sobbing.
So he probably thought that you had this big secret.
Character. Right. Yeah.
I can see that working really well.
Mm-hmm. Or a lot of people say they book stuff when they're sick. Cause it just like.
Oh, that too? Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. So when did you move to LA? You said that after college?
Yeah, when I was 21. 21. So 8 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
How has it been?
It's been good. I think they say it's like 7 years is like the magic number to like dedicate some time here. And that kind of is when everything shifted for me. But it was when I finally explored other avenues and
meaning writing.
And like working with no office, like producing and stuff. So I think I've definitely hit a good groove. I kind of wish I started writing earlier, but I also think I needed the right project to motivate me. And so, I don't think anything could have done that except my Australia one. Yeah. So it kind of was all, the right timing, I guess.
So how was it moving here?
It was good. It was funny because Florida State has a big network out here, and I didn't even think about that. Like I'm only child. I'm a very independent person, and so I was like, me and my cat. I was like, we're moving out. I got a studio in Koreatown, and just like I had a mattress on the floor and a TV and my headshots, and like that was it. And then I was like, oh wait, I have a whole network of people out here to lean on, and so. After a year, I realized I didn't like living alone, and so I moved in with other people and made friends. And
do you have roommates now?
I have one roommate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's great. You kind of like figure out who you live well with, and you stick with those people. And it's like any city, I guess. You find your good group of people in the right parts of town, and then. You have fun.
So you found those people, and like, how do you start making things happen here?
I feel like I just tried every resource I could think of. There's a lot of small projects online and stuff, and talking to friends. I've had a lot of things come up just by talking to friends.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what people say, like putting it out there.
Yeah.
But
I have my own way. I'm just thinking of someone who would be moving right now here or who's thinking about moving.
Right.
What can you do?
Yeah, there's all the websites and stuff and
LA
submitting, LA Casting, Actors Access.
Frontier.
Yeah, Casting Frontier. I mean, when I moved out here, Craigslist.
Yeah.
Which really was like, I mean, I don't know what it's like now. It might require a lot of like filtering now, but that was like how I met Hanu, and I just met a lot of people I'm like working with now that are like a lot of my lucrative, and like it's a lot of the work that I like rely on, which is really amazing that it all came out of Craigslist, to be honest.
Yeah. When did you meet him?
Hanu?
Yeah.
I met him, I think, two or so years after I moved to LA. And honestly, a lot of foreign people used Craigslist at the time. I mean, maybe they still do. That was kind of like what I learned. And it was always for music videos, you know? And so I would find like the music videos that actually were like good storytelling and not just like, you know, some naked girl, like, you know what I mean? And so Hanu, you know, I met him doing a music video and then...
which music video?
It's in Finnish, so I don't know the title of it.
But who was the artist?
It was also,
I'll probably know
like
it. What did you do?
It's like 2 words. Do you know the video? It's like
Paris Spring. Oh, no, what's the video?
No, I don't know.
What did you do there?
Probably find it. It was, what's his name? Jesse, something. And he was in a boat and like in the desert and like Hanu had like planets and stuff. And he like, it was like, he was like, he like wakes up on this other planet thing. And then he finds me like out there.
Oh, the guy, there was a Finnish male actor.
Mm-hmm, yeah. It was funny.
I think it was, Parisin kevät, Paris summer.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was that one.
There's no, it's not summer. Paris in the spring of Paris.
Yeah,
that's what it means.
Yeah, that's definitely what it was. I forget the song, or is that the song?
No, that's the name of the
artist,
band or artist.
Parisian Cavat or whatever.
Yeah. So you got Hannu posted the notice on Craigslist, and then you got cast.
Yeah, and then he just liked me, you know, because I think he had just moved here too, and so
or maybe not even moved yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was still just visit. Yeah. And so I guess it was just good timing that he didn't already, because Hanu is still this way, where when he finds good actors or good people, he just reuses them, you know, and so. We met, and then he kept using me for music videos here and there and acting in commercials and things. And then, like last March, you know, I was just like, that's it. Like, I was like, I need money wherever I can. Like, I'm going to start doing PA work. I'm going to start producing whatever. And Hanu was like, oh, actually, like we could use another hand. And it was like, just by talking and telling people, like it just created the opportunity.
And now you have worked with No Office for like 10, 20 projects already.
I guess including like small ones. I think it's only been like 5 to 7. I think it's only been like 7. I just wrote out a resume, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Almost 10. Almost, most of last year, I guess, since last summer. It's been great. And it's allowed me to like use my time for writing. And so I'm working on my portfolio. I finished the Australia pilot, and I'm finishing up 2 more this month. And then I wrote a Christmas movie for this company who wants to pitch it to Hallmark. And so we're kind of like in talks for that. But so that might sell, which would be cool. It'd be my first sold script.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Are you going to Finland yet?
No. Hanu almost brought me for a shoot over there.
Because you told me. What was the shoot?
Yeah, I forget what it was. But then they decided they wanted to, or I maybe they didn't end up shooting it, but or they wanted to shoot it in LA or something. Yeah, but I didn't get to go. But can't wait.
I think it's going to be happening soon.
Yeah.
I don't have any specific thing in mind, but Kyle has been there like
I know.
once or even twice.
I think a couple times. Yeah. I really wanna get there. That's definitely a goal. Working with Hanu. Yeah.
Kyle is a DP guy who has worked lots with No Office.
You'd think I'd know Finnish by now, having worked with Hanu for so long, but it's such a hard language. Yeah,
you're not understanding at all.
No, I don't pick up anything. It's fun to listen to, but hard to find any kind of pattern whatsoever. Yeah. I know bye, hey. Yeah.
How did you make it happen? Like you came here and then was the Craigslist and Koreatown like I guess you needed some money too, or did you start booking stuff? Or
I worked at a coffee shop for a long time.
Years.
Yeah, and that was like that I worked at a coffee shop, and then some guy bought the coffee shop, and then he opened another one and he had me move there. So I worked for the same guy who owned like several coffee shops around town, and he kind of saved me. And then there were like, that was kind of, in between. And I kind of like, I would call it various periods of quote unquote drowning. And in those times, it sounds bad, but in those, I tried to like just live off the jobs that I wanted to do, like acting and gigs, and see how long I could go without any kind of other support, you know? And it didn't last very long, and so I was like doing coffee shops, or like I worked at a hookah lounge in Glendale, and I was like a photographer for this artist that sold his art on eBay, and a lot of random jobs that I would only kind of stay in for like a year, and then I would save up, or I'd book something, and then I'd start another drowning period, and I would just try to like live freelance for as long as I could,
Yeah. And then would you go back to the coffee shop?
Would I go back? Oh, and then
did that happen that then you needed to go back?
Yeah, and then he opened this new coffee shop in West Hollywood, and so I was like, oh, well, that's easy. I already know this guy, and it's easy work. And so I went and did that, but then that closed down. Yeah, and then I went to Postmates. Yeah.
How long did you do Postmates?
A year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But here I've just noticed that it's so much about money, because you come here and your network is so much smaller than in your home place, wherever you're from. And you need to make money, because as an actor, unless if you really make it fast, you're mainly just auditioning.
Right. Yeah, it's the fight between money and time.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like a trick for me to grasp too, because as an actor, I was always worried about having as much time available, because it's like auditions would come up last minute, or like you needed to be flexible for all this stuff. But then I really wasn't getting a lot of that. Like I wasn't booking enough to like keep all my time available for, so it was kind of like, it was back and forth. And now that I've started doing, writing and producing, shoots will come up and I have to book out, and I'm not available those days. But
what does book out mean?
It means like you aren't available that day, and you have to tell your agent like you can't audition, you can't work, like it's off limits, and usually they get like mad or whatever. But it was only once I started. I think
would be fine if you booked something.
Yeah, and Honey's great, but still, it's like a 2-day shoot, or like Space Nation, with that first one that we did, like we needed all hands on deck. Like if but obviously if it was like a big show or something, but for it's my job. Like I'm gonna be there, Yeah. But it made me kind of realize like it all works out, because I finally was able to live freelance, and, I did book commercials, but I was able to do them. Like conflicts come up, but enough it kind of changes your perspective, and your attitude. And I think it only benefits kind of. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess this is my longest drowning period yet. Yes. So excited about it. But freelance is still scary, because it's still like, I don't know when my next job is. So money I have time, but I don't really, have money, but it's kind of I'm dedicating this time to try and build my writing portfolio and see where that takes. And then hopefully that can get me, I feel like it's all a game. And so it's like at the beginning, like I was, working at a coffee shop and just trying to audition as much as I could and find little jobs here and there. And, and then I tried to, and then from that, then you're like, okay, then now I have enough credits to get representation. And so then I found, agent, manager, and then I'd push them to try and get me the bigger auditions. And then I would get those, and then I would, maybe book 1 or 2 of those, and then I could get better representation. And then, I was kind of just trying to slowly climb the stairs. Yeah.
How's your personal life with that?
I'm a workaholic, I think. So, I, especially now with writing, because you can kind of do that at any time. That's, it's like hard. Sometimes like tomorrow, like I'm planning like after the next week or so, like I'm kind of like want to hole up and not talk to anybody, because I just want to get these things done, and you kind of have to dedicate so much focus to it. But I have like, a core group of creative friends who are also, really interested in their own endeavors, but we all have enough we have time to hang out and see each other. So I feel like I've kept a pretty good balance, but I would always choose work over social life in the long run.
How about like relationships or romantic stuff? Family?
Yeah. I guess my whole family's kind of independent. And
I mean, your own future family.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 Dating in LA is weird. It's hard because people are very selfish, including me.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to find someone to relate to, but also to find someone at the same work ethic level that is like understanding of that dedication, kind of to your work, but also, someone you can still enjoy being around. So I've never really spent a lot of time seeking it out, but you can always meet new people, and so it's like I've dated a lot of great people, and they've all helped me, feel inspired and grow as a person. And so that's only helped my work and me as a person.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Do you want kids?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it yet. It's kind of, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if I want another pet. I'm kind of happy with all my plants.
Oh, you don't have the cat died. When did she die?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's fine. He was old. He died 3 years ago. So It's been a while. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. How about where is back home? Is your back home New Hampshire?
It's still New Hampshire. Yeah. My parents are there, but yeah, my family's spread all over, and I have a small family. So, but we're really close. We're going to South Africa in July. My whole family, there's 15 of us on my mom's side anyway. And we have such a good time all together. And so that's really great, but we always meet up, traveling. We don't, it's rare that I would just go home and stay home. We kind of meet up in a new location and have a new experience together. And it's cool because I've actually started doing that with my friends around LA, my friend family. We've started doing small trips together, with, a bunch of us, and it's really fun. It's really good memories,
Do you like the life that you live here in LA? Are you happy?
So happy. Yeah. But I think it's changed a lot. Last year was a very big turning point, which was my 7th year in LA, which is what they say. But, if I can keep going the way I'm living, it's pretty perfect. Yeah.
Some people come here with some kind of time frame that then they might move back.
Sure.
Whatever.
Sure.
Do you have anything like that?
No, it was funny. I'm such a planner. And so when I was younger, I thought I just wanted to act. And so I came out and I had everything planned to get out here. And I knew the things I needed to do to get started. But after that, it was no plan. It wasn't no time limit. It was just kind of come here and do it, or just figure it out,
So there's no next step. There's no step backward. Because I like that. I like that idea too, which I'm trying to do too. That I came here and this is where I want to live.
Right. Yeah. I think.
Instead of giving time frame.
You can't give it a time limit because it's still, I don't know. It's hard when you don't have money. But at the same time, everything out here in the form of storytelling, it is a business, but it's also an art, And so right now I'm writing every day for no money.
Yeah.
Doing it purely for my own pleasure.
Because
and
none
for
of
the
those
art.
have been sold yet, right?
They could be sold, and it's creation, it's creating, but
and
it's
you do
not
it for art.
Yeah. You have to, I'm just saying you have to enjoy what you're doing, and you have to come out here if it's what you enjoy doing. And acting is hard because you can't just walk around and do it, but you have to enjoy it's not something you can work on you can work on it. You can go to classes and stuff, but it's not like writing where you're actually creating something that you can constantly be tinkering with, but you have to come out here knowing what the struggle what struggle, is required, and being okay with that, and, knowing that that's what it's going to be, and figuring it out, I guess. Yeah. But I came out here for that, but then I really love the West Coast. I had never been here before, and LA is gorgeous. And I would love to keep a base here, but I don't think I don't see myself staying here forever. You know, I could keep moving on, but I'm comfortable here until I get, you know, something else, until a change comes. But, you know, I'm pretty happy with the life I've created for myself in LA, but that's kind of anywhere. Like, you graduate college, you want to find a job, you want to live somewhere, you know, you got to create a life for yourself, whatever you choose, wherever you go, you know?
So what do you want from the future?
I'm all about writing, man. I want to be the Shonda Rhimes of historical fiction, of like adventure. She's the showrunner for like Scandal and Grey's Anatomy and all of those ABC drama things. She's a famous showrunner. She's created a lot of shows, and she's kind of at the head of all of it. Or I guess like Ryan Murphy has a bunch of shows on FX too. And so to be a showrunner would be really great. But even just my goal right now is to finish my portfolio and to find, just kind of do the same thing I did with acting, but in writing. So kind of like find lit representation, you know, someone that can just find me jobs. Like if I can do ghostwriting or, you know, drafting or editing, you know, just like, or even ideally to sell a script and to make this Australia show. Oh yeah, we'll pause.
Well, yeah, my friends were visiting me from Finland in Hollywood in my place, and they said that they were wondering if there's ever a moment when you didn't hear sirens or helicopters in Hollywood.
The Children's Hospital is here, and the helicopters always land on the roof of that. So
that sounds pretty rough.
But there's also there's also a lot of weirdly armed like murderers that they've shut down the neighborhood, I think like at least 3 times in the last year because some guy was on the loose with a gun. Yeah. It's just like, this is a safe neighborhood. I don't understand. Maybe that's why everyone comes to hide here. You know?
Are you afraid when you go out?
No, I've lived in worse places. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Have any like really bad things happen to you here?
Here?
Yeah, in LA for you.
No.
I mean, you've been here for 8 years.
Yeah, no, not really. It's all been around me, but it's never happened to me. Like, I remember showing up for work at the coffee shop in West Hollywood one day, and we had to be there at like 4 or 5 a.m. It was terrible. But I got there, and there was just police tape everywhere. And I was like, I have to open, like I have to get in. And they're like, no, like someone shot like this whole place up last night. Not my coffee shop, but this store next door. And there was like bullet holes in the glass, or I think it was like an hour earlier. And I was like, cool. So if I had gotten here like an hour earlier, I would have just been screwed. Yeah. Yeah, nothing terrible. Like accidents have been the worst thing. LA traffic.
Yeah, you were telling about your dreams that you want to be the next showrunner for the historical fiction. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of other ideas, but if it was just historical fiction, that would be fine too. But yeah, I think to be a showrunner or to sell my Australia pilot and to make that's like really my goal in life. Nice. Yeah.
But you have done some acting jobs in TV series too. Mm-hmm. And of course, what are like the biggest things that you have done or most important things for you?
I guess Inner World is my biggest credit, but it was
that's a feature film.
Yeah.
About voiceover stuff, right?
Yeah. It was in 2013. So it kind of basically is like, I didn't even do it at this point. It doesn't even like count anymore because it's been so long ago, you know?
So that's how it works.
Yeah.
So you had a part there. Was it many days? I haven't seen it.
It was 3 days. I had 3 scenes and it was like 1 scene a day. Yeah. It was when it was 2013. So that was 3 years after I had moved here. So it was the first big thing that I had booked. It was crazy. And it was really with Lake Bell. Yeah. Who I just adored in college and I couldn't believe it. And I didn't know Lake Bell. I didn't know that she was.
I didn't know her, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that she was directing it. I just booked it. It was just a random role and I just booked it. And then they were like, oh, the director Lake would like this and this. And I was like, wait, Lake Bell? Like what? And like, oh yeah, she's going to be doing all the scenes with you. She's directing it. And I'm like, what? And she was really great on set. I was just super nervous because it was kind of the first super professional job I had had.
You were the girl with the voice.
Yeah.
I've seen that on your, what was the voice thing you were doing? Valley thing or something?
Yeah, Valley Girl, the vocal fry.
Yeah. I've seen those scenes from your website or something like that.
Yeah. It was funny. It was a fun experience. And she was a force because she wrote it, she was in it, and she directed it. So she would come over to me, she'd be like getting the scene up, and we would run the scene a few times, and she'd be like, don't do that. Oh, that's funny. Do that. And she would kind of just like direct me quickly as we did it. And then we'd film it a few times. And so it was like, we'd get it out and I'd improv and like try things out beforehand. And she would kind of like edit me and then we would film it a few times. And so, yeah, it was a fun experience.
Nice.
And it went to Sundance. And so me and my parents went to Sundance. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I didn't get anything else after that. No, I did like CSI New York, I think around the same time, which I'm still getting residuals from. It's great. If you can do CSI or Criminal Minds, that stuff pays.
It probably shows in Finland too.
Yeah. It just,
what did you play?
I was just, it was like a co-star. It was just like a victim. So I was probably the only one that could cry because it was just like, you're just held at gunpoint and you just have to cry and be like, no, don't shoot me.
Yeah.
And then the cops come and like save me.
Well, that would be the next step for me professionally. Mm-hmm. Like to book one SAG role. It would be probably under 5.
Yeah.
So some kind of Russian corpse.
The cynical thing with that though is like, it doesn't mean anything.
When you book it?
Yeah. It's not like, I'm sorry, but like, it's a good paycheck, but like, it's not like a normal career where it's like, oh, I booked a co-star. Now I'm going to book a guest star. Then I'm going to be a series regular. Like
that doesn't happen?
It doesn't happen. Like, like even like what's her face from Star Wars was like a nobody. And then all of a sudden she's Rey, you know, like
one of the lead. I haven't seen those.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, or there's people who just, if you book enough co-stars, you become a co-star actor. And then you don't book anything higher because you just book co-stars. Yeah. You know, those are the jobs that you have.
So what happens? What's the good way?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out too. I've given up. I just, you know.
But that maybe helps.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like you want to just keep auditioning, obviously, but most of the like good roles that I've played haven't come from auditions. Like In a World was a fluke of like auditioning, and CSI, it was just because I could cry. Yeah. You know, and that was all.
But you got into the room. How did you get into the room?
Oh yeah, my agent.
So you had a good enough agent
Yeah.
Because there must have been like 3,000 ladies who could have done that part.
Totally. Yeah, right. Submitted. It's just getting in the room and having it. But that's like the part that it's like, it's just sometimes it's luck, because I have a friend too, and it's like she's done a few things, and then I would do cold submissions to agents, like just email them. Yeah. Like never the top ones, but just like who I think I would be suited for, you know, like I started with like the low level ones and, you know, eventually like started applying to mid-level, and I would always get responses. Yeah. You know, and it was always like 1 or 2, but that was all I needed. And then I would choose from those, take meetings and choose from those. And it was like I had a lot of luck too, I think, you know? So it's like, I've had friends who like, you know, they try to do the same things. They've had a few like roles, you know, but then they try to get representation and they just don't hear anything. And, if that was me, I would just I would wait a few months and then send all the emails again. You know what I mean? And just keep getting more work. I don't know. You just keep pushing, but there is a lot of like luck and timing with it. And it's all out of your control. So it's like the more acting is like so hard to pursue, you know? I feel like this year I have 2 things coming out. And I love it because I play kind of a villain in both of them, which is like everything my agents send me out for is like comedy or like quirky girl, you know? And so I'm really excited to have these come out and to show a different side of me, but it's stuff that I've done with my friends. Yeah. but it's really great
so
stuff.
the things that are coming out are stuff that you have done in defense.
Yeah. But I think they're both excellent and they're going to do really great. And like, I really enjoy that. I really enjoy acting in good roles with the people I love, you know, and then spending my time creating the art that I want to create, you know, and like just using my time for me. Cause I think for so long I was like giving my time to the unknown and like to possibility, which is still good, you know, but you can't rely. Yeah. You can't rely on that. Yeah. Acting and like, you know, the possibility of an audition coming up, you know, like that's just unpredictable.
And now you're creating your own work at the same time with, I understand.
Yeah. So the auditions are always going to come, but like if you fill your time, it's going to make it seem like more auditions are coming because not everyone is so precious, you know? So you'll be like, oh, another audition interrupting me? Gosh.
so do you do anything active to pursue auditions?
Not auditions, no. My commercial agent, I've booked a lot of commercials, so I'm like at a good place with my commercial agent, so they send me out. But when I first started with them, I felt like I had to bug them a little bit, you know, and then I felt like every time I bugged them, they'd send me an audition and that one I would book. And then I just like wouldn't hear from them. And so I'd be like, hello. And then they'd send me one and I'd book it. And I'd be like, hey guys, like check this out, you know? And they tried to they wanted me to hold off from joining SAG for a while because, you know, non-union commercials are just, you can book them easier, you know? And so, but then I started booking SAG ones, you know? And so now I don't feel like I have to bug them.
They send you out enough.
Yeah, but there's also like an ebb and flow too, you know, like
what kind of numbers, like how often are we talking about?
Well, you know what? I was curious and I'm a kind of a freak about, like I said, about planning and like my planners. And so I write everything down in my planner. Like even after like even tonight, like I'm going to go back in my planner and write, you know, recorded podcast with me. Like I keep track of everything. And so I, for taxes, I went back and counted my auditions last year and I did about 100 auditions.
Every 4 days. So that's 2 per week. Mm-hmm. That's actually same numbers that I get, but most of mine are much more low level. They're from actors.
Yeah, that's really good. That was all like
100 auditions.
Yeah, that was all just what my agent got me. My agents. I didn't count like what was commercial and what was theatrical and what were callbacks. It was just kind of like every time I had an audition, I just like made a tally and I went through my planner and I had about 100.
That's really, and all from agency. How many agents and managers do you have?
I have one theatrical, one commercial, and then a manager for everything.
Nice.
Yeah. And hopefully I'll have lit soon too.
You have what?
Literary for writing.
Oh yeah, that's your goal.
Yeah.
So what kind of tips would you give to someone, not to me, like someone younger who would like to move here or who is moving here?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like all the cliche things to say, like you can't be afraid of rejection. Like, you know, I think I even in, you know, you get no's from agents and stuff when you send your stuff out, but that's just for that time. That's just that time. And you got to be selfish, but you can't be like in your own bubble. You have to realize that you're a nobody, you know what I mean? And so agents will say, like, they'll say no, they'll say pass, but then they forget you. So you could email them again, like 2 days later and they won't remember you, you know? So you can't be afraid of like, no, well, they said no once, so let's just no forever. Like, no, just keep doing your thing and keep pushing, you know, like don't be annoying. But I think it's really, you can't be afraid to do the work. It's just a lot of work, but that's the only way anyone gets anywhere. I think that's a lot of misconceptions that people have when they come out here is they think it just kind of happens. And I think it does for most people, but I think, you know, any success is just a lot of work, you know?
And as work for an actor, you mean trying to get work?
Yeah.
That's the work for actor. Or what are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the catch-22 of acting though, is like I said, you can't work at it. You know, I think that's where it comes to like maybe networking, or if you enjoy writing or creating or producing, maybe just giving some time to that, because that would lead to something you're creating or something that you sell that then you could act in, and those are long games, but that's what I mean about the work. And, if you don't like that stuff, then maybe, even like Daniel Day-Lewis is a carpenter. Like he spends most of his time doing that, and he acts in maybe like one movie a year, if that. He's not in that. Like most people, it's like I have to spend every day on acting, and it's like a lot of actors don't even do that, So it's kind of like what do you fill your time with, and what things could you be doing that might be long games but could eventually help you get roles, like make new friends, do things for those friends, like help them with their own projects, like just meeting people in the industry. And so PA work, like little assistant jobs, I think just as long as you like expanding your network, I think is probably the most you could do for acting too, because acting, it's like you are your face, and it's like, I could play like a 60-year-old man, but that's probably, I'm not probably the person they want to play a 60-year-old man. They probably want a 60-year-old man, so there's only so much work you can do. So I think it's like thinking outside the box, of just what work you can make for yourself that will help you, because that's more in your control, I guess.
Do you recommend coming here? Moving here?
Yeah, it's a nice city. No, I think if this is the industry you want to be in, then yeah. I have friends that are in other cities, but they kind of plateau because, most of
I don't know what that word means.
It's like they kind of like level out in a way. Like I have friends in like New York and Atlanta who are working like crazy, but
in acting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because there's so much work, and they're all local hires, and they work all the time, but they won't ever get a series regular. I mean, I could be wrong. They could, but to
it's
me,
more difficult. There's more
so far, like they're the local hires. Like LA is where all of the leads, all of the main roles are cast, and then they go to Louisiana to shoot.
Yeah.
And then they hire everyone else to fill out the smaller roles. So there's things always happening, and you can always be cast. But I think LA is the biggest city to tackle. So that's why I chose it, because like it's going to take the longest. But if I can find success in LA, I think that's it. That's like where it all stems from,
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Corsica.
Yay. Thank you.
And that was Corsica Wilson, my really good friend, and you heard how it is living in LA as an actor. Please check me out on iTunes and subscribe and whatever, all the things. And there's a couple of the previous episodes you can find on iTunes or miskakajanus, my name.com, miskakajanus.com. Okay, enjoy. Have a good day.